First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite.
Hello.
Oh boy. Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for BDElite. Yes, do not adjust your podcast apps, whatever it is, wherever you found this. We are currently in a hotel room. It's like 1:30 in the morning, something like that.
We're in Chinatown, in Queens, in Flushing. We're drinking toasted marshmallow Bud Light seltzers. What has the world become? And we've brought our very own John Siino along with us to tell us all about what happened on Dark Elevation tonight.
This is the clearest Zoom connection that I've ever had. Holy shit, guys. It's like fucking 3D.
This is the epitome of an upNXtra. Yeah, we're up next. We're BDElite, but we went on a little travel. We went on a little tour. We went to AEW Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and we just got back from the crazy exit of the stadium.
Yeah, we're pretty spent.
You can hear from our voices.
And I'm not editing out that beginning.
We're not editing. Yeah.
You need the real honest BDE here.
Yeah, we have traveled and we've been screaming, watching wrestling all day today. And we thought we'd do a little bit of a show. This will be a quick one, as you can see by the time frame on this show. But we're hanging out in person in a hotel room so that hopefully we can make it for some karaoke before the 4 a.m. last call.
Are we singing karaoke?
There's no way we're singing.
I don't think I can hold a tune right now.
John, what are you singing at karaoke tonight?
I wanted to sing like wrestling themes. I want to sing like a Rancid, Ruby Soho.
Yeah.
You know, that's been stuck in my head.
Stuck in my head all day, yeah.
Final Countdown. He's never going to use it. It's $100,000 per use for 20 times a year. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I blew my voice out with the first match tonight.
Me too.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was over. Yeah, we'll have to give you an update if we do, in fact, make it to karaoke. But yeah, it's been quite a journey. We did Up Next last night, and you slept, Davie, for like maybe 2 hours.
If like 90 minutes, something like that.
I didn't. Instead, I just like packed and set up and then went. I had an 8 a.m. flight. So luckily we live in Toronto near an airport, Porter. So we actually just walked over in the morning and then hung out. It felt really weird to travel and do all that stuff to go through it, the hoops, but we made it. We're here. We're hanging out, not over Zoom, with John Siino, and we went to some wrestling.
Yeah, I had on my flight. So you were flying from the airport near to us. Yeah. We were both kind of leaving similar time, just different airports. And I really wanted to just like have a little nap in the airport and then have a little nap on the flight. And there were all these people going to some sort of festival or concert, all these young kids, and they were just talking the whole time.
On your flight?
On my flight. And they were like, the whole group is around me.
Governor's Ball, maybe.
No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. It was something else. But
Weird.
Yeah, I'm sat there and they're just talking over me the whole time and I'm just trying to fucking sleep. So I slept during Rampage instead.
It's okay. You can catch it Friday night.
Yeah.
2-hour special. Yeah, I went on a flight. If Toronto to New York is not very long. It's like an hour almost, pretty much. So it was pretty. That's the only sleep I've had in the past like plus 47. I don't know. I don't know what day it is, but we're here. And we watched some wrestling. We had some hangouts today. I'm hanging out with Daniel, friend of the show, who does the synth and stuff, helps us out with some of our music. Daniel is an amazing person. He's letting me crash with him visiting here. So I was hanging out with him and our friend Jonah today, and then I met up with you two at some bar.
I went to some cool Korean bar in the area.
The Coop. You flew the Coop.
Which the food was pretty good and had some beer towers.
I came in, there was beer towers. I started helping myself. You were like, please help yourself. There was food.
The bartender ended up giving us like a free half tower, and then he brought us shots. So it was pretty cool.
I had a sex on the beach because you insisted that was the happy hour special.
It was good. Grand Slam. You gotta have a sex on the beach for Grand Slam.
Yeah, we're two Canadians here. Well, a Brit Canadian and a Canadian here. and I'm drinking. I haven't tried it yet. You promised me a pumpkin spice seltzer, but you drank them. So instead, I'm gonna try this toasted marshmallow one, which
I don't think Davie likes.
It's interesting. I'm gonna have another sip.
Dave seltzer rating.
Oh, that is not 5 stars. No, that is weird.
It's very weird.
It's marshmallow. Yeah, what do you expect?
Yeah, it's like a Dunkaroo or something. I don't know what the fuck this is. Well, I didn't drink that at the stadium. They didn't sell these at Arthur Ashe. I have, though, to stay on the seltzer thing, I did look for the pumpkin ones today before I went into like a bodega, and my eyes lit up looking at like the fridges.
Different seltzers.
We had some seltzers at Arthur
we
Ashe.
had the Hard Arizona.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They had
We had
mango
cherry
and
and a
cherry,
mango.
yeah.
They had a sign for it at one of the It was chaos.
It was in the Heineken stall, like the pop-up stalls.
It was utter chaos in the arena.
Well, yeah, let's talk about it. The like setup in the stadium and everything.
Well, it was sweet. I'm not a tennis fan, but I know a lot about the arena and the importance. I kept saying I wanted to see Billie Jean King show up. Maybe she was there. Everyone else was in the audience tonight, so maybe she was. She was the person, the new signee. So this was like this. How many people fit in this thing?
I think they were reporting around 17,000, I believe.
They kept saying 20,000 was a magic number, but I doubt they got that many. It wasn't sold out, but it was packed.
It was rammed. So going there today from this bar that we met up with some other people who, Body Slam people, .net or something like that. I'm blanking on your names, guys.
Podcast.
Yeah, there's a few podcast people that had clearly people either in New York area or like some travelers.
So, Scoops as well.
Yeah, it was so awesome to see some people and meet some people as well. So shout out anyone listening who we hung out with today. And I said on a podcast the other day, hey, I'm a Canadian coming to New York. I really love to smoke a joint before watching Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan. And some magical angels made that happen.
People always come through.
Yeah, I love people sometimes. So we went into this venue and you had to go through this, felt like a bridge with lines of people.
I would say it was a huge line, but it was moving. Like, I didn't feel we were ever waiting too much. I thought it was pretty orderly. I thought it was done pretty well.
Yeah.
Getting into the venue.
Yeah. Everyone kind of felt a bit more respectful than I'm maybe more used to than the last time I was at some wrestling events. Maybe that's an AEW crowd, or maybe that's just because we went through a pandemic and maybe we should be nice to people.
I will say they were requiring proof of vaccines to go in, and they were not checking that at all.
According to Duke,
first bar both bars we went to, I showed my proof, and they were like, "Oh, this is interesting because it's got the Ontario health thing and all that." Yeah. So they're like, "Oh, this is different," and they're looking. Whereas you could just wave at any piece of paper.
I'm pretty sure I showed him my CVS receipt, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you're good." Yeah, he wasn't even looking. He just wanted to see something in your hand, and he let you through.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's alarming or what.
Yeah, I mean,
let's hope we're not doing up next from New York next week.
Yeah. I will say I pulled out my phone and at the entrance to the arena, and they were like, "Hey, proof of vaccination." And I was like, "Here you go." And he's like, "Yeah, cool, great." And I was like, "Do you want to look at it?"
No, not at all.
So yeah, maybe that wasn't a great vibe.
That aside, it's awesome being at a wrestling show with people, right?
Yeah, it felt really cool to be at a wrestling show again. And the vibe outside, everyone was just in such a good mood. It felt like it was WrestleMania. Yeah. Because there's a lot more people than just your little arena show. But it was a lot of people. The roof was closed. So there was potential of rain, and then
there was rain at one point, and the way they had it set up, there wasn't like the palm trees that you've had at WrestleManias, for like a canopy. I think visually it would have looked incredible with the open roof.
Yeah.
Looking around, it does just feel like a big arena as soon as the roof's on. So I'd be curious to see how it came across on TV, whether it looked any different from your usual Dynamite. Because that was the one thing I was like, it is a shame the roof's closed because you didn't get that like proper stadium feel, I think. But visually, like the sightlines at this venue, because it's like a tennis court is like a wrestling ring. It's like focused. It's not huge. It's right in the middle, and it was quite steep. This venue, I'd say, and the view from anywhere, even behind the stage, sure you wouldn't be able to see the entrances. But you could see the ring perfectly from wherever you sat.
Yeah.
And I took a walk over to where Braden was sat at and had a a look from there and kind of just walked around and was watching from like different parts of the venue.
Yeah.
Awesome venue, and I'm sure they're going to run this again because it felt great, this place, for wrestling.
Yeah, no, it gave me that exact vibe. Everywhere you could see perfectly. Barclays Center kind of has this weird thing where you can kind of see that. Not as good as this arena. I actually thought this was awesome. I'm like, whoa, wait, they've never done wrestling here? Why does it feel like it fits so perfect?
Yeah.
This is a shoo-in for happening every year or next year.
I think it's going to be one of like the 4 specials that they talked about having on TNT. I could see this being like one of the staples every year.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if AEW, like WWE, like have Barclays Center
or MSG.
MSG, like why not? Why try to get them when you could just have this as your home?
I wonder if they tried to get MSG and that's how they ended up doing this show, or was this a plan all along? Like,
I don't know. I mean, when they booked this, they're possibly looking at outside venues. Sure, the roof was closed tonight, but with COVID protocols and things, they might have been leaning towards having somewhere outside, which could have been and there's nothing on. The US Open just finished last week, so good time to do it.
I know Tony Khan said that he was like looking at this place for the longest time. I don't know if it was like even before COVID, but he's definitely been scouting this place for a while. So
yeah. I mean, it's a cool venue. It's got history. People were watching it on the US Open and stuff just last week on TV.
Yeah.
So like, it's got some buzz. They did a great job of, if you walked around Queens or New York today, you got to see, or the past few days, you got to see the spray paints on the sidewalk.
On the sidewalks, yep. It said Dynamite, the time, the date, and everything. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, this looked awesome. I see people taking pictures, and I finally looked down at my feet at a red light. I was like, whoa, that is the greatest advertisement you could do.
Yeah, I think the advertising for this show has been great. You've seen a lot of people on
sports shows
and chat shows.
Orange Cassidy.
It did feel kind of like that WrestleMania vibe when you know the wrestling's in town.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd be interested to know like locals around who maybe don't have their ear to the ground about wrestling, like whether they notice that something's going on.
I mean, I bumped into like at least 3 or 4 like of my former coworkers that don't even like go to wrestling shows. Like, and shout out to Miguel and Chris if you guys are listening. But yeah, I was like surprised because they never go to wrestling shows, and it's like this is a big thing, and even if you don't like pay attention to wrestling, you're still somehow finding out about this event one way or another, and you find out the names that are involved, like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. Like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty nuts. You guys both just went to All Out in Chicago, and like that was a pretty crazy card considering all the things that happened on it and all the people that showed up on it. But when you look at this card, this is absolutely ridiculous. Who we watched on this card today?
Yeah, because this is essentially a huge pay-per-view split over 2 nights
that they filmed in one go.
Which they filmed in one go, and you've got like obviously CM Punk, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny, Sting versus FTR. That's the one that I kept
Sting
being
and Darby.
like, oh yeah, we're seeing Sting.
Sorry,
well.
I watched today. Sorry, no, I'm not. We're not going to spoil Rampage for you guys. I swear. I'm sorry. I tweeted one thing about what CM Punk's wearing. I'm sorry. But I got to see, I don't think this is a spoiler because I think it was Dark or Elevation. I guess you would know. What the fuck was that?
What, the Paul White?
Yeah.
That was Elevation.
So not only did we get to see Sting, I watched Paul White wrestle.
Saw Paul White wrestle as well.
I got to see all sorts of things.
We knew something was up because Davey looked at the commentary and he's like, Paul White's not doing commentary tonight.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I was like, he's a big guy. I should be seeing him sitting there. But he wasn't. It was, I think, Mark Henry,
Eddie Kingston, and Tony Schiavone, yeah.
So, yeah, like the list of all these wrestlers, like Minoru Suzuki, we watched Sting, we watched like all these names wrestling, and this has nothing to do with WWE. I think this is the biggest show that has rivaled WWE
it feels in a long, like long now, with this, and I know the term's tired now, but with this Forbidden Door thing, AEW is the pinnacle of the rest of wrestling in the rest of the world, and that can be your shitty bingo halls, quote unquote. It can be your New Japans, it can be your Impacts, it can be all of this, but AEW is the it has the money, it has the viewership, it's got the venues and stuff to actually showcase all this stuff and keep anything that's been happening in the rest of the world kind of canon to their story. Like there's no, you come to AEW and it's, well, right, we're gonna
change your name.
You're gonna be Italian now. You're gonna be mates with this guy, and you're gonna brawl in bars. it's like, no, like everyone's history, even people who have made the leap from WWE, Malachi Black, for instance, he's kept everything of his character from WWE and continued it. Like, him being blinded by Rollins and Murphy is canon to Malachi Black.
Yeah.
You see with his look and the eye and everything. And I think that's awesome. I think it means, sure, as a casual, maybe you'll be watching and you go, right, who's this old Japanese dude who's just walking out and beating up Jon Moxley? But you see the reaction from the crowd who are so tuned into it, you know, well, I got to look up who this guy is, and it's down to you to do your research. And I think, I mean, obviously we weren't listening to commentary today, but Excalibur's fantastic at that, at filling in the blanks. And I just think that's why AEW is so exciting right now, because literally anything can happen. And these dream matches we talk about, there's a possibility, as long as they're not signed by WWE, there's a possibility of any crazy match happening.
Mixing, matching, yeah. It's this whole other thing. I think this was the biggest, the most I've seen from friends who have stopped watching wrestling over the years that have messaged me this week. Like, right. Oh, they got me. I'm watching this show. And it's like, oh, you haven't talked to me about wrestling in 4 years. But all of a sudden you know what this is. You know who Kenny is. You know who Bryan is, and you're watching. Okay. Or a lot of people watched All Out. So many people watched All Out and went, okay, I'm watching wrestling again.
Now. Yeah.
And then you watch Tonight Show. They got you. I think so. Definitely. I mean, this was a like 4 hour plus taping for us. So yeah, we are super tired, especially running on zero sleep for the past few days. But they said like, hey, we're going to be taping. Dynamite's live, but then we're going to tape Rampage afterwards. But before, there's also Elevation, so we're going to open these doors up. All these people are going to try to fill in and get their beers and their food, and it was a little chaotic.
It was pretty full for Elevation, as well. It was. Like, yeah. I mean, it's obviously not out yet, but the like cheer for Thunder Rosa, on Elevation was enormous, and it's kind of cool because I remember. Was it a SummerSlam or a Mania or something where there was no one there for one of the pre-show matches?
Right back in Kalisto.
It's happened a few times where like no one's been in the venue by then, and it was pretty cool to see. I'd say it was like probably 70% full for those Dark Elevation tapings.
Well, it's crazy because they go, okay, everyone get in here. Tony Khan made it clear on any interviews or Twitter and stuff like that, like, yo, get in the building because you want to be there for the start of this show. Well, we figured out why he wanted us to be there on time, because we're told as the show kicks off, okay, well, actually, the match you're all here for, it's happening right now. Yeah. The dream match we're here for, Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, kicking off Dynamite.
How do you feel about that?
It threw everyone off, and I loved it. It instantly went, oh, I'm glad I just got back from getting my 15-minute waiting in line. Actually, my friend Daniel was getting pizza, and then we were in a beer line, and I was like, this beer line sucks. People are cutting in front of me. This is insane. I'm never going to get out of here. Like, I'll be waiting for an hour for this line. And he was like, yo, like, I'm getting pizza. You can quickly order something. I'll order you beer. I'm like, yo, quickly order, like, put 2 beers in for me and Jonah. And he's like, yeah, all right. And then we got our beers, and then we got to our seat, and then boom, Dynamite starts. And I was like, okay, I may have cheated the system a little, but holy shit, I would have been so mad because a few people were coming in when the match like was kicking off for the entrance, and they're like, wait, what the fuck? I thought this was the main event of the fucking whole night. Yeah. So I could see people being like pissed off, but yo, get there on time.
I had 2 guys try and cut in line for the washroom.
Yeah.
Like right in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you cutting in front of me?
Yeah.
And they turned around and went, what are you going to do? Call the police? And I was like, no, but you're not going to cut in front of me. And like just pushed right in front of them. And then the guy behind me was like, yeah, like fuck you.
Yeah, I can't stand those types of people. I did notice that a lot in a lot of the lines going into the venue, at the beer and stuff. You get that anywhere at concerts, doesn't matter. But especially after a pandemic, like I figure, can we not show each other more respect?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we cut the line to get in, right? No.
We accidentally did cut a line today.
Well, we were there already. Yeah. We were there.
Yeah, we were hanging.
We were pausing.
Yeah, we paused. Yeah, we were chilling against this thing for so long, and then we were like, "Oh, this must be this line." And then we looked back after a while, like, "Oh, wait, that's a whole spiraling, turning lanes of lines that we."
And we're like hiding behind Big Walter over here, like.
Yeah, one of our listeners, our friend Walter, who's bigger than Walter in WWE. No one will ever fuck with him. Who I think he got picked for random screening in the venue entrance because he's so big. They're like, "Yo, shout out Walter." But yeah, so Dynamite here kicks off in Arthur Ashe Stadium. We didn't take any notes. This is just a quick kind of short form show. But yeah, the main event match that I purposely was like, I need to watch this match. I want to watch this match. I know we'll probably get it again in the future, but I want to see this in the stadium. It's too perfect to pass up. And I'm so glad that I made the trip because I think this match lived up to the hype.
100%. I do kind of like building up to a big match. Like, I didn't quite feel ready for it.
Yeah.
Like, you feel, oh shit, this is happening now. I don't know if my energy level's there yet or whatever. Yeah. But it's also, I don't think I've gone to a TV taping where I've really cared about the card. I've seen good Raws before that I've gone to and they've been fun, but not really cared. I've never gone like, oh, I hope this gets time, this match here. Whereas this is a match, I think we said it on last week's show, we assumed it was going to main event and we were going, well, I kind of hope it goes on at 9:30 because I don't want it to be one of these main events that entrances are starting quarter 2 and you go, I'm not really getting the match.
Yeah.
So by starting the show, you knew these guys were going to have time with this. And they announced the 30-minute time limit. And I think a lot of us, as soon as Justin Roberts kind of goes 10 minutes gone or whatever, you go, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. But we got a full match. No bullshit. And it's Kenny versus Bryan.
Yeah. Yeah, it had everything I wanted to see from this match. You got your stand. First of all, it's the opening match, so everyone was ready. It's the first time I've been to an AEW show. So I've been to All In, but this is AEW. It was very similar to WWE and how they did things. Like Justin Roberts is like, "Hey guys, 10 seconds. We're going to go live. You need to get yourself hyped up." If you've been to Raw, they do that stuff.
Yeah.
They do the cuts to the crowds during the things. They do little things that don't show up on TV to get the crowd going and things like that. They clearly have learned in this business. But yeah, they start off with this match that's just crazy hot and it's the match that we've all wanted to see. And yeah, they totally delivered. I got everything I wanted out of this with the standoff in the beginning, with the first match here, with the crowd full, going absolutely mental with just this stare down between Kenny and Danielson, which is just I was like, all right, this is already amazing. You don't even need to wrestle, I don't think, really. But then they did, and boy, did they wrestle, and definitely wrestle is the key word because it felt like a pro wrestling match. I am done watching WWE. I am sorry. I know someone just went, these. No, sorry. Nothing. I don't care about anything. Go watch your show with silly dolls and fucking whatever is going on in that show. They are not the same. This is pro wrestling. This was an awesome match. I traveled to go watch Kenny fight Jericho for Wrestle Kingdom. That's something I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be awesome if I went to that match live? I had the same vibe here, dream match kind of weird mentality. Is this actually happening? Okay, it's going down. And from front to start, I don't know if I've ever been at a live show for this match, specifically this match, that I was so invested. I didn't give a shit about anything else going on for that 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So that speaks for something, in my opinion. I didn't go on my phone. I think I took a video of their entrance, and I looked back at my phone after the show today. I was like, I didn't take many pictures of things because I just didn't care. I was in
to watch it.
Yeah, I was just sucked into it, and that speaks volumes. These two put on a clinic here. People kids who are wrestlers, going to train to be wrestlers, are going to be watching this match for quite a while because these guys knocked it out the park.
What I found interesting is I've got a few kind of very casual fans who have been getting into AEW recently, and I was waiting to hear if there was any disappointment from the draw. And sure, when the bell went, there were boos,
of course.
But then there's a fucking standing ovation. You know, like you knew you saw something good, and you're disappointed that not necessarily that it's a draw, but that the match is over. You want them to keep going.
Yeah.
And checking like with very casual fans, they were like, that match was great. Didn't mind the draw at all. Like, you got 30 minutes of solid, great wrestling. Yeah. And we've got a story now. Like, we're going to keep going back to this. Like, I think we're obviously going to see this match again with the title involved at some point. I think the way they've started it with the draw, like, you could get 2 or 3 more of this and have a proper series.
I'd watch them wrestle a million times.
And I think every time is going to be very interesting. Like, it lived up to the hype for sure for me.
Yeah, we haven't even rewatched it back, but it's definitely something that I probably will be watching. If I wasn't doing the show right now, we'd probably be watching it back, but I'll probably have to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, one of my friends said he was watching on TV and he said we sounded so loud, which I'm so happy reflected, because when that music came on, you couldn't even hear the music. We were being so loud. The place was like rumbling. Everybody's like clapping and chanting, and the energy was so crazy. The only negative about that is, like, I feel like everybody got their energy out. So by the next segment, the next match, which was like MJF and Pillman, it was like, all right, let's kind of like get back to normal now. It's like my only negative about it, but I'm happy that, like,
I was spent, dude. Yeah, I needed a cigarette. I needed to go outside. Like, that's what I don't even smoke cigarettes. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't, but like, that's how I felt. I was spent, brother. I was like, okay, wow, I got my money's worth.
And exactly. That's kind of how I felt. I was like, well, you could put on the worst show
after this
ever now after this, and I don't care because I saw that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but they put on a great show. But I felt for like us, definitely, because the lack of sleep and traveling and all that, I couldn't pick my energy level up again.
No.
And I thoroughly enjoyed the show, both Dynamite and Rampage. Rampage I struggled with a lot because it did feel long, and that I would say is the one thing of having like an elevation first and then peaking right at the start of the show.
Yeah.
You've got a long way to go after that, and nothing is going to possibly get you as excited.
In all fairness, they only had 3 matches for Elevation, which I'm actually surprised. Usually it's like 8 or 9 matches.
Good.
So the fact it was like 3 matches, and it was like quick matches. Like, it was like Paul White, Thunder Rosa, and Dark Order, just squash matches. So I was very happy. I'm like, oh, look at that! It's at 7:55. Like, we're gonna go into the main show right now. So that was I think that was really smart. The fact that they didn't put too much in front of the Kenny Bryan match.
Yeah, I knew that they would. I knew I would feel that way after that, and I did, and I felt like really tired. And the crew we were with, like, I was like, we all felt the same. We're like, okay, well, like, we're still gonna enjoy and go wild for the show as much as we can, but it felt like, okay, I needed a breather, and I still need a breather, and then the next 3 segments later, we'd still be talking about that first match.
Dear Arthur Ashe, please sell coffee or Red Bull or something.
Yeah, they needed to work out more vending things, because being at venues, like, there needs to be more. You can't be waiting in line for the whole fucking show.
I would say that's something that, as much as I didn't like the venue for All Out, they were aware of their demographic and turned a lot of the women's washrooms into men's washrooms and stuff like that. And I felt the merch lines and the vendors and all that kind of moved a little bit smoother than tonight. But it's predominantly a tennis venue. Yeah. I guess people aren't really going and getting loaded on beers and
as you should. You should do at
people
tennis.
Have a drink, but it's a little bit more civilized.
Yeah, I saw their tennis menu. It was like all these classy drinks. Like, here's some cognac.
Pimm's. You go and you have Pimm's and you have some strawberries and cream and you sit on Henman Hill and watch the tennis. Yeah. Like, it's a little bit more civilized. Whereas, guys, we're wrestling fans. We want a beer.
Yeah, I wish I saw the hard Arizonas or seltzers. I was drinking Heineken. It was pretty much all I had in my sections. But I was like, yeah, whatever, cool.
I'm gonna have some Heinekens.
And we all love some Heinekens here at the BDE. Yeah, I there was a whole other card, but definitely I'm stuck in just like, in fact, I need to watch it back on the TV broadcast. But Kenny Omega, the greatest wrestler in the past few years, and Bryan Danielson, who's just been like this guy for years, and the story and the hype up, the open letter to WWE building this up. He said this is his now most important match, and man, must have feel good walking back.
I think Bryan Danielson is a very smart guy. I think he's such a role model as well. He's someone I trust, like all the shit, and we talked about it extensively on Up Next this week, all the dark side of the ring and stuff. Bryan Danielson's someone I can trust. I can enjoy your work. I trust you're a good person. You're a role model. You're going to put on fantastic matches, and I can buy your white t-shirt and wear it proudly and not worry about it. And the way he left WWE, being grateful for them and thanking them and everything, but being, look, this is bucket list stuff. Yeah. I'm a professional wrestler. Kenny's the best in the world. I want to fight him. Going to that interview we were listening to the other day where he's saying, I want to face Zack Sabre Jr. in the UK for the Observer Bryan Danielson Award.
He's like, it's my own award. I retired. They changed the name of Best Technical Wrestler to the Bryan Danielson Award, and well, I'm back and I want to win it. So I got to beat this guy. So I'm going to wrestle. I want to wrestle him. And like, imagine being Zack Sabre Jr. hearing that, being like, you're on, bet, let's go.
And it's so refreshing just hearing someone speak so honestly, no kind of trying to work anyone.
Yeah.
Just like, no, I love WWE, but I love professional wrestling. I want to fight Zack Sabre Jr., work in the Tokyo Dome, do Mexico. He's saying all the shit you want to hear.
Yeah.
He's not doing like, oh, well, you know, maybe one day. He's like, no, this is what I want.
And I have 3 years to do it.
I can do it, and I've got 3 years to do it.
He says I'm done after 3 years. So, I mean, if this was his first match out of WWE in so long, and wow, if this is what we're getting, this unleashed dragon, well, please bring it back on and book Dragon versus Dragon, Shingo Takagi, Bryan Danielson.
Were there any other highlights from Dynamite, like things that stood out to you?
I mean, you know me, if you've been listening, when those lights went out and the snow was in the air and Arthur Ashe, the ash was in the air, I got excited to see Sting. I've actually seen Sting wrestle before versus Abyss in a last rights match at Destination X TNA 2007. So I'm super fan of Sting because this is the second time I've seen him wrestle. But you've seen Punk wrestle twice now?
I've seen Punk wrestle twice. I've seen Sting wrestle twice. Seen him against Triple H and FTR.
Saw Paul White wrestle twice in a month.
You saw Paul White wrestle twice. Oh, the Gun Club came out as well.
Yeah.
And Elevation. So I've seen a bunch after watching. Like, this is check off the wrestlers I've seen now. It kept coming from this. I've seen Tully there. Saw Arn Fall.
I was going to say, my next standout thing would be, like, the reaction that Cody got. He was, like, super heel. Like, he didn't come off as a heel, but the fans treated him as such.
I think that's probably the hottest the crowd were, aside from the Bryan Kenny match. That reaction, he always gets kind of mixed, and we always talk about on this show about how he's
working you, bro.
Is he a delusional babyface? Yeah. Is he working? Like, what is it? But they've got to lean into this now at this point, I would say.
This was on Dynamite, right? I don't want to say things that didn't happen, but so Malachi Black, Cody Rhodes. I've told about Cody is someone like, dude, we wouldn't be here with all the stuff that he was doing a few years ago in the indies. So wrestling fans, we're so jaded. We move on to the hot new toys real quick. Like, dude, he was the guy that we were like supporting and like, yeah, fuck WWE, fuck Triple H. We got fucking Cody Rhodes. And now we're turning on him because we got all these new fresh faces. But I hope that I think it is that he's working us. However, tonight would have definitely been the right time for him to do the thing with Arn to just hit him.
Yeah.
Hit him. Hit Arn.
Yeah, I still question, is he working us brilliantly or does he just think he's the most over babyface in the world?
Yeah.
Because like it could have been a surprise if it's the latter. He could have been like, oh, I thought I brought Rosario Dawson out on Wednesday. Like, why are you booing me?
Yeah, I think now they've got to. If they hadn't been thinking about it already, they should have, because I actually was expecting the second biggest thing coming out of the show tonight. You said it. Yeah, the second biggest thing is, people were booing Cody. I was expecting, oh, people were booing Cody, and well, he gave him something to boo because he attacked Arn, is what I thought.
I thought, especially after Arn
took 2 bumps,
just practicing his bumps on the outside.
I mean, he should practice that first one.
He
was doing some Spider-Man.
It really came across on TV. I was looking at the GIF, but Arn was trying to like go around the ring post and just fell on his ass.
That was really funny. Yeah, I hope he's okay because he had to he had to get up to do the spot.
Yeah,
so he takes 2 bumps. Really, damn. The poor Arn.
They know what they're doing. I mean, he brought back Brandy. She comes out of the heel tunnel. I think you had pointed it out.
Yeah, they play off that heel babyface tunnel thing so much in person. So when Cody came out and he's like, hold on, Arn and him come out of the babyface tunnel, but Brandy came out of the heel tunnel. So guys, you know that he's gonna have to turn heel.
What they have to do is like put.
He comes in the middle.
He comes in the middle,
He's
and
the
then
only
Arn
one
came
that
out of the
comes from
face.
the-
Yeah.
They have to get the baby Liberty and put it right in between and see which tunnel she chooses.
But I actually like Cody coming in the middle because it actually represents everything we say. Like, is he the biggest babyface or is he a massive heel? Like,
That's right.
We're not supposed to.
What about Pharaoh?
Yeah.
That's how you'd put treats in your pocket to see which hole. Like that's what you do.
Dogs are never heels.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you been bit by one? You might change your stance on that.
You are the heel there.
I felt like Cody with this reaction, like, yeah, you need to make changes. You need to go forward, evolve the character, or like take time away.
I actually loved Malachi's reaction after the match as well when he
during
won,
the match,
because he's someone who doesn't really show a lot of emotion. He's pretty like stern and serious the whole time, and just watching him like lying on the ramp laughing after the match, you don't normally see that from him, and I found it quite refreshing from him actually. Yeah,
he was selling it right before or as the match started. He was like, "Do you hear that?" I think I trying to read his lips. He was like, "Do you hear that? They're not chanting. They're not chanting for you. They're chanting for House of Black." So they're pushing that thing. The match was good too. The match was good, but still that vibe of like, okay, well, yeah, we're capped out. We know what we wanted tonight, and we got it. So everything else was just kind of bonus. And
from the actual match, I only remember Arn's bump. To be honest,
I liked the match. It was a little slower, and it was kind of quicker than some of the others. What else happened? Oh, Sting and Darby fought.
Yep.
FTR.
It is fun watching Sting.
He was fast.
Yeah,
I thought.
He's older than Arn Anderson.
That's crazy. Well, he did this sequence, and even I was like, "Oh, whoa!" Sting, like a bunch of us were like, "Whoa!" Sting's looking fast, and literally after he did the sequence, that's when the whole arena lit up, chanting, "You still got it," and rightfully so.
I think that's why the tag thing works so well with him, because he doesn't have to do a great deal. He's not got the pressure of doing a 20-minute match on his own, but can do stuff he can still do great, and it looks great. And get such a good reaction. I think you got to start pushing these two towards the Bucks
or the Lucha Bros. They're the champs.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah,
Sting and Lucha.
Yeah, but
Sting and Ray Phoenix.
Think they've got to get a tag title shot soon.
They beat FTR, so yeah. There was the main event: Ruby Soho, Destination Unknown, and then DMD, Britt Baker. Britt Baker is over as fuck.
Yeah, she got a huge
Ruby was really over.
Yeah, Ruby was
Britt
really cool.
Is on another level. Like, she was one of the most over people of the night.
I liked the match, actually. It was probably... Yeah, actually, I kind of got into the match, especially towards the end. We all knew Britt was winning, but like you were like, I kind of want to see if they do want to maybe change it up. But like, no way. But there were some hope spots that made me bite. And I think Ruby like is a solid wrestler. Like,
yeah, she's
great. Yeah, and she's got a really cool look.
I hope like we keep on talking about the women's division, but they really need to start having decent feuds that aren't involving the title, because Ruby, from what I remember, she lost pretty clean here, right, to Britt. Was there much shenanigans?
Oh, no, not at all. Jamie Hayter interfered. That's the gimmick lately, is Jamie Hayter's the problem solver. She's the reason Britt keeps winning all these things. Ruby was about to win, but Hayter interfered.
Okay, so they can rerun this match.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a worry with like a Ruby if you're... I don't think it's the right time to take the title off of Britt. but she's
a future champ.
You need stuff for Ruby to do if she's not in the title picture. But I assume we're going to probably get this match again, and it delivered.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, and it should have. It was deserving to be the main event, especially if you put the Dream Kenny Bryan match as your opener. It's like, yeah, definitely put the women's title match as the main event, and rightfully so. Any other stuff? It felt like a quick show, not quick, but like it was obviously the 30 minutes plus burned the first hour, and then there wasn't much promos.
Pillman MJF were in a bit of an awkward spot, I think.
Punk
talking. Punk come out.
You have Punk talking, so you were riding that high energy. You finish the Bryan Kenny match and you go right into Punk, who everyone's still excited to see.
Yeah.
And then I felt MJF and Pillman were in a bit of a tough spot going when they did.
MJF is like a baby face here, so that his parents were in the crowd with his family were in the crowd tonight with signs that saying we're his parents, and even we still hate him. We still think he sucks. He's the biggest heel in wrestling, and he got the boos and stuff, but I still think his matches really don't do anything for me. Sorry, but like.
It depends. I really loved that match he had with Sammy on Dynamite.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed his matches with Jungle Boy. This one didn't do a whole lot for me though.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I think he's actually a better wrestler than I think he is.
Right.
If you know what I mean. I expect the Miz, and I get more than the Miz from him. But Pillman's someone who has a lot of potential, but in ring he's still a bit basic.
Yeah.
He does his flying clothesline.
He tried to. He set it up like it was going to be this big finish. And then it's countered into the Fujiwara.
Yeah, and I think also you kind of want an MJF promo to lead into a match just because he's so good.
I was waiting for the promo to hype up. I think the crowd needed it.
I think it needed it too, yeah.
I mean, that was kind of all that kind of happened. And then there was a lot of stuff that happened on Rampage that I kind of don't want to spoil for people. But it was...
CM Trunks!
There was some fun stuff as well as there, and some.
There was a lot more matches on Rampage. I felt like.
Yeah, I felt like maybe I was my energy was draining.
Spent by Rampage for sure.
Yeah, but it had some fun stuff. I was super into seeing the Super Click get back together, so that was super cool. That match was nuts. Jungle Boy, I don't know, man. He is definitely a star. Like. The arena lights up for that Jurassic Express. I still think there's a title shot for those two. There's a title run for those two down the line. But, so, I mean, obviously Match of the Night, I think, is unanimous
100%.
For anyone who watched this show tonight, whether at home or in person. But Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega just knocked it out the park with this dream match.
When do you do the rematch? Do you do a title match at Full Gear?
Yeah, I mean... There was someone outside. Someone saw my shirt, or someone saw us smoking, and we're like, "Oh yeah, you got the right idea." And she was wearing an anxious millennial cowboy shirt, and I said to her, "You got the right idea wearing that shirt." And she's like, "Oh, I just wish Hangman would come back." I'm like, "Well, he's coming out tonight." And she's like, "What? No, don't say that." Oh, that didn't happen. I think Kenny beats Bryan some way, some shape or form.
Do an hour draw.
An hour draw? You're insane.
At Full Gear.
You're insane. Then have Hangman come out. No, it wouldn't work like that. I would like to see it. Again, let them wrestle as many times as they fucking want. Let Daniel Bryan do whatever he wants, and we will love it, and we will all be happy. That's
Absolutely.
Going to this show was awesome. AEW puts out these like flash on their boards on the Titantrons, like, hey, we won't tolerate like certain languages and the way people are treated. Like, you don't see that at WWE shows. I know on NXT, who says they're trying to make wrestling a safe space.
Joe Gacy.
But they literally like are like, hey, like this isn't a place to like get in fights and stuff. Like if you try to fight someone, like you're out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that kind of thing. It felt like more of a like thing, like sitting next to MJ from NJ. He was getting a little lit. He decided, you know what? Anyone who walks by, I'm going to two-sweet for a little while. Wrestling fans, we usually two-sweet each other. But out of 10 people, you might get one person who's just maybe they are a little too spent. Maybe they are too tired. Maybe they don't want to two-sweet. So one guy didn't two-sweet him. And MJ felt a little like, oh, you didn't two-sweet me. And I was like, here we go. It's about to kick off. But the guy just goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, my bad, bro." And I was like, "Wow, that wouldn't probably happen at a Raw or SmackDown, because usually that would end up into someone calling someone a bad word and a fight." Just things I noticed as going to WWE shows my whole life, and little tiny things.
Less kids as well.
Yeah.
I noticed.
I barely saw any.
I saw a couple, but definitely not the amount you would normally see at
way less kids.
WWE
Although, like maybe a row or something, there was like a mom and dad and their daughter. She looked like she was like 8, 10 maybe. And when Britt Baker was doing anything, it was so cool to see. It was so amazing to see this little girl do the DMD thing a million times, and like she was about it. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. So there wasn't many kids.
But yeah, definitely a different. We were saying it kind of had that Mania vibe, just the amount of people and everyone kind of hyped, but definitely a different kind of crowd. I felt. It was interesting to see. It was
a spectacle of going to lots of different shows. I'm sure you can attest to as well, both of you. Is like it had this whole different vibe. First of all, it's in a tennis stadium. Second of all, it's all these matches why is this even happening? But holy shit, is this happening?
It felt more like a concert. Like just running into people that I knew and just talking to them. It didn't feel like I was going to a wrestling event. I felt like I was just going to like a festival. Like it just felt like a really different vibe, and everybody was just very excited and happy. Like compared to when I went to MSG a couple weeks ago. And you didn't really get that same vibe. Like people were just like they were just there just because they had to watch wrestling. But
everyone seems so happy and chill.
Yeah.
Definitely going to the show.
It makes me want to go to other locations that they do these things. I don't know if Minneapolis is the one, but
this definitely had a better chill vibe than All Out. Like All Out was cool, but I felt like something about this felt very special. This
show felt like one of the most special shows I've ever been to. 100%, hands down. And it is like a great Tony Khan came out a few times, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't want to I feel like this spoils, but it's probably already out
the rap battle I don't think aired. So I think we could talk about that. That was like a dark segment. I'm pretty sure they didn't put it on TV.
Okay, well, like I'm sorry, but someone had messaged me that there was like celebrities in attendance. Stephen Amell.
Yep, Stephen Amell was there.
Heels was ringside, but apparently like West Side Gun, the rapper, was there. But apparently the rapper, well, not apparently because I fucking saw him because he came out. Lil Uzi Vert was there, and apparently he was also hanging out with Fabulous. So just all these like. Who knows who else, like celebrity-wise, were here.
Did someone say Andre Chase?
No one said.
Did somebody say?
So, yeah, it definitely had the attention. And again, this is probably the biggest non-WWE show that's, like, happened probably in a long, long time since WCW, not including, like, New Japan stuff. Because there's so many people. There's literally almost 20,000 people there.
And for anybody who follows the socials, got a big pop because Max Caster brought up the 9 days promo.
Oh, God, I love
9 days. 9 days.
I thought that was like an inside thing between us. I didn't realize it was like, a well-known thing amongst like the roster, but that was great.
Absolutely lost it when he said that. So, yeah, the rap battle with Lil Uzi Vert, who didn't actually rap battle.
No, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, the GOAT. Well, that's our little recap of Dynamite, the Grand Slam. Is there any final kind of things? Because the Kenny match and Bryan delivered for me. That's going to be a match we'll be talking about at the end of the year for sure. It felt like this battle, this sportsmanship, athleticism battle kind of thing, but loved it.
Yeah, definitely want to watch. I want to watch most of the show again because you do get a different perspective watching on TV. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. AEW put on very entertaining shows.
Yeah,
like I can't see even a bad Dynamite isn't terrible. You know, like I think if you went to it, you'd have so much fun. So yeah, I recommend if you're nearby to one of these, go. Like, cause
check it out.
Check it out. It's a great time and it's revitalizing wrestling.
100% for me. You go to these indie shows the past 5 years where the indie shows were like the cool shows, and they still are, like the GCWs and stuff. But they taken that and like with the production and the backing and everything, just makes it a completely different animal and what wrestling kind of needs to be where it hasn't been for the past 10, 15 years. So one of the best shows I've been to a lot of shows, but it felt very special. And
the Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Yeah.
What I feel like with shows like this, they're going to be doing basically what takeovers are basically never going to be able to do again. Because you have like that takeover type of vibe with the fans that were there, and realistically, we're never going to get that again. Obviously, with everything going on, so I feel like this is like better than what TakeOver. It took what TakeOver did, and it just upped the production value and upped obviously the talent that's on the show. But yeah, I'm just excited about the future. I really hope that they continue to do shows in New York, and that's just a perfect venue.
Yeah, we gotta come back.
Gotta come back.
Try all the American seltzers you guys got.
But I can see them not necessarily doing this every year, but doing different, interesting venues everywhere.
Yeah.
Like doing things outside at random things. They've got the football stadium in the UK.
That would be crazy. Yeah. I mean, they did a Dynamite on a fucking boat. So,
yeah.
I mean.
I think they're going to keep on doing these special Dynamites just whenever they can get somewhere booked. That's cool. And anytime it's a hometown for someone, it's going to be a special Dynamite. Like they do such a good job at making this. We're talking like it's a pay-per-view. This was just TV this week. This was a TV episode that they did. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. There were some promos in and out from certain wrestlers that may or may not air and stuff, and there are a lot of choice words like not mentioning WWE, but like, oh, pro wrestling is back in New York City. Like, don't worry about that other shit. This is not pro wrestling. This is kind of thing. And I like it's little like things like that. It's like
a few less piece of shits than usual though.
Yeah, a lot less. I don't think they even said it once.
No.
I don't think anyone called someone a piece of shit. So that was my one negative.
I'll call you a piece of shit, John.
Thanks for listening, you pieces of shit. Guys, thanks for listening to this little show. My voice sounds better than it did when we started.
I've actually woken up a bit from doing this.
Yeah.
Going out? Going out?
Yeah, the city that never sleeps, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've been listening to my Fugees on my train ride from New Jersey all morning.
Nice. Were you there? They played Frank to end the show tonight. I don't know if you'd left already.
No, I left.
After Rampage.
Yeah. They played
My Way.
Yeah. Wow. Perfect.
Not the WWE.
Yeah.
Not the Fred
Durst.
Oh, so the second best one.
Yeah. Something we agree on.
Follow us on the socials at upNXT Podcast for all the pictures and stories of all our travels this week.
Just bragging.
Yeah. Well, for all the other shows coming out as well, because this was a little extra bonus show. You brought your mic on this thing. You knew you watched Being the Elite. Never pack your gear.
Yeah,
you got to bring
I had it in my hand luggage, in my carry-on.
Yeah, you can't pack it. You'll lose those Dior's, right? So check out all the other stuff. Patreon.com/upnext. We got some shows out. We got a review upYOURS Heavyweights. The Ben Stiller Disney movie. Matty B, world champ, has picked that. That's out. We have Extreme Rules, the pay-per-view, coming up this weekend. I won't be watching it, but you know what I did watch? ECW One Night Stand from 2006. That review is out on the Patreon, plus all our retro NXT reviews, all the stuff.
And if you are watching Extreme Rules this Sunday, or you don't want to watch it, but you kind of want to know what's going on, we will be having a watch-along on the upNXT Twitch account. We're letting the inmates run the asylum this week. We're going to have a few world champions, Eric Marcotte. Siino, are you hopping on for this one?
Depending if I'm still here, I might say no and let's go out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Siino, card subject to change. Dan Reed as well is going to be on that. And shout out, there was a watch along tonight for Grand Slam with Dickie Bird, Eric, and Chris Leone. So thank you for holding down the fort while we're having fun over here. But twitch.tv/upnextpodcast. The watch-alongs are always so much fun, even if the show itself maybe won't be.
Yeah, well, it was tonight on this AEW show. So thanks for listening to us. You can listen to us talk about Dynamite every week on BDElite. We usually go live Wednesday nights, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/upnextpodcast to record this show. Catch us every Tuesday night with UpNXT as well. So many podcasts. Siino, you got Shot in the Dark.
Yeah, I recorded it this morning right before I jumped on the train to get over here.
Ridiculous.
Pretty cool show. Ishii and Tanahashi debuted on New Japan Strong, so that was pretty cool.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So
spoilers, bro.
Just saying, you guys got to watch these shows. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out. Turning Heels, episode 6 with B Detroit.
Yeah, so many podcasts, free podcasts, Patreon podcasts, all there is. Siino, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We're tired. We're probably going to go try to get a drink or something. But where can people find you?
Siino Evil at all social, CNOEVIL, as well as the Facebook page. I met a couple guys today on the Facebook page, so shout out Walter, he's on the Facebook page, and a couple other guys, so that was pretty cool.
You had a few people who were like, hey, just want to say hi to you guys. So anyone who said hi or you wanted to say hi, maybe you didn't get to connect with us, well, we're saying hi to you right now, and hit us up. So thanks, guys. We love this community, and going to a wrestling show for the first time in a few years reminded me of why I like doing this stuff. And I can't wait to the world going back to normal so that we can hang out with these people, because it felt nice to hear people being like, hey, I actually know who you guys are and I love you guys, and we need more of that and hanging out with you people. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, take care, goodbye, be safe, and that was the Grand Slam.
Ahoy!